Benjamin Impossible. Chapter 33. Boss Battle. Benjamin struck the evil cyborg in the face as hard as his augmented spacesuit would allow. Metal shards flew as Dr. Glockenspiel sailed across the room, flipping end over end in low gravity. The doctor's body spun, hit the piano, then bounced off the glass window on the far side of the room. Despite the impact, Benjamin was surprised to hear Glockenspiel still speaking. "How is this possible?" the doctor yelled as he flailed and attempted to right himself. Rather than answer, the boy took the opportunity to shoot the other robots in the room with his capacitor cannon before they could attack. He then spun up his power shield and used the spinning blades to cut off a robot's arm, jamming the severed appendage into the entryway hatch. The boy hoped this would keep the door from opening and keep out any more robotic soldiers who might be drawn to the commotion. Spinning around, Benjamin saw Glockenspiel flying toward him, arms outstretched. Benjamin had plenty of practice with low-gravity maneuvers in his old ninja suit. The boy contracted himself into a ball, then straightened out at the last minute, kicking the cyborg in the face. They both shot off in different directions. Benjamin skidded along the roof while Glockenspiel crashed through the table and rebounded off the floor. "Might as well give up now, Glockenstupid," Benjamin yelled as he flipped over in the air. The boy was relieved to find that the turbojets in his spacesuit worked. The thrusters weren't effective in a vacuum, but there was plenty of oxygen in this room for the internal propellers to push him through the air. Glockenspiel struggled to his feet. Benjamin's powerful punch had shattered facial features, but the cyborg was still in the fight. "I'm going to kick your butt," Benjamin exclaimed as he prepared for another attack. Glockenspiel displayed a chilling metallic grin. "You have spirit, Benjamin Impossible, but you are outmatched. I'm superior, physically and intellectually. You can't beat my robotic form or outthink my Glockenbrain." "It's time," Benjamin declared, "for me to pulverize that electronic brain." With a burst of speed, Benjamin charged toward the cyborg, his spinning shield extended ahead of him. Poised to slice through the cyborg's metallic torso, he aimed to obliterate Glockenspiel's cybernetic brain once and for all. The cyborg closed his eyes, and before Benjamin could strike, the boy was grabbed from below and thrown off course. Captain Lemontime, sitting at the table, had reached up and grabbed Benjamin's leg. Both of the space-suited figures tumbled through the air and smacked into a wall, destroying several priceless paintings in the process. "Lemontime!" Benjamin yelled with frustration. "What are you doing?" "I am not Lemontime," a voice emanated from the spacesuit's external speakers. "I am Glockenspiel, and I have taken over your friend's spacesuit. How would you like to fight one of your own inventions?" Benjamin's eyes widened in surprise. Glockenspiel had possessed Captain Lemontime's spacesuit, and the brain was controlling its movements. Glockenspiel pointed the spacesuit's capacitor cannon and shot at Benjamin. "Bang, bang, bang. This is fun, yeah?" The boy deflected the shots with his power shield, creating bright arcs of electricity as graphene bullets ricocheted around the room. The recoil from the capacitor cannon turned Lemontime's spacesuit around, and the possessed man spun away, tripping over a chair. Benjamin stalked warily toward the other spacesuit. Looking through the open face mask, he could see that Lemontime was asleep, completely unconscious and unaware of the commotion. Suddenly, Benjamin lurched to the side as another robot barreled into him. He crashed into a side table, a flurry of robotic arms behind him trying to pin his arms in place. Benjamin turned on his leg thrusters and he flew across the room, slamming into the glass wall with a metallic screech. "You won't get away from me that easy, naughty boy. In my country, we don't tolerate this kind of behavior from unruly pupils." The voice came from the robot on Benjamin's back, and it also sounded like Glockenspiel. Apparently, the cyborg could possess all the robots in this room, and he could switch his control between them quickly. Benjamin reached back with a hand and grabbed wildly. He caught something and pulled. The robot behind him flipped forward, and Benjamin found himself holding a robotic eyeball. It was still attached to the aristocrat robot's eye socket by a thin filament. "Ouch!" the aristocrat yelped in Glockenspiel's voice. "Why did I install pain sensors in this silly robot?" Benjamin held onto the dangling eye and spun the robot in a giant circle. The optic nerve snapped, and the aristocrat flew through the air to crash into the piano with a cacophony of sound. Benjamin dived across the room. He needed to wake Lemontime up so they could finish off the evil doctor together. "Lemonhead, wake up, you dunderhead!" The captain answered with a loud snore, and Benjamin could see that his eyes were still closed through the open faceplate of the spacesuit's helmet. Lemontime's spacesuit had been electronically slaved to Benjamin's, so the boy tried to hack in and take back control. Unfortunately, Glockenspiel's software was still controlling the other suit, and the evil doctor's program blocked his efforts. "No, no, no," the evil doctor cackled from the spacesuit's external speakers. "This body is still mine, I'm afraid. Let's see what it can do." Glockenspiel stood the suit up and pulled out the captain's power club. He swung the weapon using Lemontime's unconscious hands. "Here's a nice little stick. I will beat you like a piñata. Perhaps candy will come out, no?" Benjamin crouched and pulled out his own club. He turned off his shield. The spinning blades were great at cutting metal and deflecting small objects, but they wouldn't stop the heavy club. The metal clubs were so dense they would pound right through the spinning blades and likely break the arm underneath as well. Plus, Benjamin didn't want to accidentally slice Lemontime's face off. Benjamin raised his club and blocked a downward blow from Lemontime, the jarring weapon driving him to his knees. Fortunately, he didn't have to block another strike, for the impact had thrown Lemontime's spacesuit backward, the other spacesuit tumbling away from him. That was the problem with fighting hand-to-hand using powered spacesuits in low gravity. You tend to get bounced around a lot. Rather than pursue Lemontime's spacesuit, Benjamin grasped his club and activated his leg thrusters, flying toward the cyborg's metal robot form instead. If he could destroy the Glockenbrain inside, he wouldn't have to fight Lemontime's spacesuit and risk hurting the captain. Benjamin rocketed toward the robotic body and swung the power club with all his might. At the last instant, the cyborg's robotic eyes opened and Glockenspiel blocked the blow with a forearm. To the boy's amazement, the cyborg shrugged off his attack with ease. Benjamin tried to swing again, but Glockenspiel caught the club in one metal hand, then punched the boy in the chest with his other fist. Benjamin flew backward and smacked against the far wall, the breath knocked from his body. Benjamin gasped in air and tried to focus on the cyborg standing by the window. Glockenspiel's robotic face smiled grimly, and the cyborg clapped his hands. "Bravo, young Benjamin. You have fight in you. Your spacesuit is strong, but it is no match for my strength-enhanced cyborg body. Your suit must be hollow to allow an astronaut to fit inside. My robotic body has no such restrictions, so I've filled this body with armor and muscle wire. I am tougher and stronger than you." "Uglier, too," Benjamin snapped. The evil doctor tilted his metallic head. "How did you regain control of your spacesuit? I thought my software was foolproof, but you seem to have circumvented it." Benjamin revved up his power shield and advanced. "I'm done talking to you, Glockencoward. When I left home this morning, I brought a pocket full of lollipops and butt-whoopins, and I'm all out of lollipops." "Charming," the cyborg grinned. "However, I think you should re-examine your prospects." "Hardly," Benjamin said as he bent his knees and prepared to jump. "I'm going to use my power shield here to cut you open like a tin can." The cyborg shook his head sadly. "You can try, but I don't recommend it if you want to save your brother." Benjamin paused, shocked. He had forgotten all about his little brother during the fight. He glanced over and was surprised to see Charlie's jar being held by the Majordomo robot. The Majordomo was looking into the glass jar at the small boy, and his laser eyes were glowing red. "As you can see," Glockenspiel said, "I have everything under control. One thought from me and your little brother gets lasered. You will have to decide, Benjamin. Do you continue your fruitless attacks on my indestructible cyborg body, or do you give up your brain and save your little brother's life?" Benjamin growled. "You're bluffing, Glockencoward. You already said that you wanted to keep Charlie alive for his programming skills. You wouldn't risk hurting him." "That is true," the cyborg thought aloud. "However, I don't have to laser him to death. I could just laser his feet off. Or I might just copy his brain into a robot body instead. He might be a better programmer if he lived inside a cyborg body. At least I wouldn't have to deal with all the cookies and poop." Benjamin gritted his teeth and thought quickly. "If you hurt one hair on Charlie's head, I'll unleash my secret weapon." "Oh?" Glockenspiel said with interest. Did you install a fart dispenser in your spacesuit as well? Nope, Benjamin said, as he unstrapped the watch from his wrist. I am talking about the micro-detonators I planted around your ship. One press of this wristwatch button and they all go off. They won't kill us, but the explosions will ruin the hull of this ship and release all your hyperhelium into space. Glockenspiel looked skeptical. Micro-detonators? Highly doubtful. I've been monitoring you with cameras the entire time you've been on my submarine. I saw no bombs. Benjamin laughed. That is because they are small. How good is the resolution on your security cameras? I think if you re-watch them, you'll see me slapping my hand on some strategic locations in your ship. One press of this button, and I blow your control computers, your supply of hydrogen peroxide, and the monitoring system for the nuclear engine. Glockenspiel squinted at the boy. You are bluffing, just like you pretended to place a bomb on the hyperhelium generator back at Fort Jefferson. I will not fall for that trick again. Fair enough, Benjamin replied, pressing the button. They stood there waiting, but they could hear no discernible sound. Glockenspiel grinned, then hooted with triumph. You see, he howled. I was right. You were bluffing. You can't fool me twice. 30-second delay, Benjamin said calmly. What? There is a 30-second delay before the microdetonators go off. Why? Glockenspiel asked with amusement, still not believing the boy. Well, Benjamin said, microdetonators have short-range sensors, so you have to be close to activate them. I need time to get away from the explosion, so I typically program in a 30-second time delay. It's just common sense if you think about it. Glockenspiel cocked his head to the side. I still do not believe you. I think you are just stalling for time. Benjamin was stalling for time, but he couldn't let Glockenspiel know that. I don't care if you believe me, Benjamin replied coolly. The detonators will go off in 20 seconds, and then you'll know if I was bluffing. Glockenspiel laughed with amusement. There is no point in delaying the inevitable, young Benjamin. My other robots will break through that door soon, and this standoff will be over. I am looking forward to copying your brain. You will be a clever little cyborg. Benjamin glared at the deranged scientist. The large window framed Glockenspiel's metallic body, and the stars beyond seemed to twinkle at Benjamin as if to laugh at his predicament. One star in particular sparkled brighter than the rest, mocking him. Benjamin then shuffled half a step to his right. Glockenspiel frowned. What was that? What was what? Benjamin answered innocently. You just stepped to the side. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. You just moved. Oh, that, Benjamin answered, holding his hands out. I was just thinking about throwing my metal club through that window behind you. I was trying to get a better angle. Glockenspiel laughed. A pathetic last stand. That window is made from 5-inch rhino glass. Not even a stampede of wild rhinos could break this crystal, much less your little metal stick. Fair enough, Benjamin answered, holding his computer watch out to his side. But tell me one last thing, Dr. Glockenspiel. Do you think that window is strong enough to stop a robotic dog accelerating through space at 3,000 miles per hour? What kind of question is that? Glockenspiel asked, perplexed. Benjamin pointed at the glass window. Before Glockenspiel could react, the dog struck. Olé! Benjamin yelled, diving to the side. Noah, who had been accelerating for the past 30 seconds, was traveling at an incredible velocity. Without the Millennium Marshmallow to slow him down, the dog was able to reach a fantastic speed, burning through the last of his rocket fuel in the effort. Noah barked happily to himself one last time before he plowed into the window. The steel pipe attached to his chest punched through the rhino glass, and the metal shaft impaled the cyborg through the heart. The concussive impact was so incredible that everything in the room blew backward. The entire superstructure of the submarine shuddered in protest. Benjamin flew back among a pile of furniture, vases, paintings, and disabled robots to bounce off the inner bulwark of the room. Benjamin's ears hurt and he shook his head, trying to recover from the impact. Even with his protective spacesuit, he felt like someone had dropped a dump truck on him. Spots swam before his eyes and his ears rang. Pushing away debris, he looked around to see the damage. The room was in shambles. The glass wall, now cracked, had a line of spiderweb fractures radiating outward along its surface. Dr. Glockenspiel's cyborg body hung suspended in the center of the glass, the steel pipe protruding from his chest. He looked like a dead spider suspended in a net. Looking around, Benjamin thought he saw movement. The Majordomo robot was twitching, so he shot it with a graphene capacitor. A flash of electric light, and the robot was still. Looking for his brother, Benjamin spotted Charlie's jar bouncing slowly in the air. He could see movement in the jar. His brother was still alive. What happened? Benjamin glanced over and saw that Lemon Time was finally awake. The captain blinked groggily, and Benjamin could see a dark bruise on the man's forehead where Glockenspiel had hit him. Lemon Time was moving his arms normally. Benjamin guessed that the shockwave must have reset the captain's power supply and erased Glockenspiel's program. That or the evil doctor was out of commission and couldn't send a remote signal to the suit. To be sure, Benjamin floated over to the captain, reached inside his helmet, and entered the Konami code, resetting the spacesuit's firmware. "Look alive, Captain," Benjamin said. "While you were sleeping like a baby, I killed the bad guy and saved the day." "Really? How? I thought Glockenspiel had taken control of our spacesuits." "My little brother programmed a reset loophole that I was able to take advantage of. While you were sleeping, I've been beating up robots and kicking butt." They both looked toward Glockenspiel. The cyborg floated against the window, several feet of pipe protruding from his metal chest. The metallic body didn't move, and his robotic eyes stared straight ahead, unblinking. "Is he dead?" Lemon Time asked. "Probably," Benjamin answered, floating over to the robotic cyborg. Using his enhanced suit strength, he bent back the metal chest plate and ripped out the Glockenbrain inside. Holding the blue orb up, he could see a hairline fracture in the crystal. "Looks like the force of the impact cracked his silicon brain. I don't know if this computer sphere still works, but I'm not plugging it back in to find out." "What happened?" "Noah got him," Benjamin said as he pocketed the Glockenbrain. "He was floating a few miles in front of the ship, so I called him using the electronic dog whistle on my watch. Back on Earth, he just flies toward the watch's radio signal as fast as he can. With his upgraded space rockets, he was able to accelerate to a killer speed." Benjamin pointed to the cracked window. Without wind resistance to slow him down, Noah was pulling 10 gravities at the end. When he hit the window, he was moving faster than a tank artillery round. "But how did you make Noah hit Glockenspiel?" Lemon Time asked. Benjamin pointed at Glockenspiel's body. "I was able to control Noah's trajectory by holding my watch. I just had to make sure Glockenstupid was in the line of fire." "And Noah?" Lemon Time asked. Benjamin's smile disappeared and he looked a little guilty. "Utterly destroyed. Poor Noah is plastered against the other side of that glass window, crushed flatter than a tin can." "I'm sorry to hear that. I know he was just a robot, but I was getting quite attached to the mutt." Lemon Time tilted his head to the side. "Do you hear something?" Benjamin shook his head. "My ears are still ringing. It sounds like a hissing sound, I think." They both looked over at the glass window in alarm. The spiderweb cracks in the glass seemed to be multiplying and getting bigger. The window was about to break. You've reached the end of Chapter 33. Please consider liking this video or even leave a comment. Then proceed to Chapter 34. What about Charlie?